Welcome in, everybody. Sorry for that, it was a little loud. I'm a little hyped. We have a win to talk about. 8. The drought is over. A win, not a draw. A full-fledged, full-throated, completely unmitigated win. This was a busting off the hinges type win, too. It had all the hallmarks of a classic Atl United win from kind of the halcyon days of our heyday. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. I'll lower the music a little bit because it is like a party here. It's like a party there in the ATL everywhere tonight because are we back? I don't know if it's too early to say that. I think it is, but still fun. Still fun to think about. All right, guys. So, AJ's here. We're going to get to all your questions, all your comments, all your concerns, and all your jubilation and celebration. Man, I haven't had to include that in a review or recap in a while. So, glad I finally can again. AJ, you were at the game. I heard you were in the supporters section. There were some rumors that you were tussling down there in the trenches. Did you take any beer grenades from, what was it, 4 goals? Did you get rained upon? Your hair still looks good, so maybe not. How you doing?
Guys, I'm about to be real extra. The Benz.
You went so extra that your mic peaked you out so hard that it shut you off. You won't.
Oh, well, I'll do it again. Because it's worth it.
All right, a little bit further away from the mic.
Finally, Owen has come back to the Benz. 4 goals. Yeah, no beer showers. This kid's a little sicky still, and I know I had to redo the quaff a little bit. So yeah, no, I got a beer bump for sure, but worth it.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
It's been a minute since I've been into the support session proper, usually adjacent to it, but yeah, I'm gonna say it's completely because of me. And we scored 4 goals because I sat in the support section. So, people just had to smuggle me into the support section for it to work. And I think yeah, let's be honest, no one really cares. No staff should be, reprimanded for this. I just waltz right in. It's no big deal. Because
just say everyone knows me. It's fine. I'm good here. They all know me.
No. Nah. But 8 games without a win, and yeah, it's a shootout. I mean, arguably, from an attack standpoint, in the first half, probably our best this year. And yeah, I mean, the second half, 4 goals from a neutral standpoint, great. I think goals were coming. The first half, it wasn't like a defensive masterclass or anything. It was just yeah, definitely we had the better of the chances for sure. But defense still questionable, but we were able to figure it out. But Derek Williams, he was holding it down. Of course, got the go-ahead header for the first goal. Good delivery by Marinchuk as well. I mean, he definitely. There were some moments that, especially very early on, I think, I forget which minute, but it was under 10 minutes. It was a through ball on, and instead, he kicks it just straight out.
Yeah.
And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Everyone's just like, you didn't see that? But what were you aiming for?
Yeah, that was rough.
He made reprimands, and yeah, I think he had a a decent match and finally got an assist this season.
He did.
But
yeah, and
you
if you ask Zilf, he had 2 assists this game.
yeah.
Because we were poking fun at that about his little just tried to sweep it in, but it fell to Jay Fortune instead.
Right.
Man, that was awesome.
Yeah, and then there was also his ball to Saba that Saba put in the mixer for Jay Fortune.
Mm-hmm.
So there was that. And then I think, he struck one with his right foot. And he stung the keeper's gloves. I was like, oh, okay. And then Ronald Hernandez came right after that with a header right over the crossbar. But I mean, it was
God, that was a close
these
one
guys.
too.
Yeah, real close. These guys looked hungry and for goal.
They did. They looked like they had the killer instinct. The whole game, you felt, damn, Atlanta might be scoring right now. They are not out of this game. They are constantly driving into dangerous opportunities, putting Cincinnati on their heels. It's haven't seen like a sustained effort like that for 90 minutes, probably this entire season. That was
100%.
really, really good. Really, that's what you expect to see. And even if we somehow let Cincinnati back in the game and they end up either tying or, God forbid, even winning this game, regardless of that, we put up 3-4 goals, and with that intensity, that level of fight, that 90-minute consistent level, I'm happy about it. That's what we really just want to see. That makes Atlanta United competitive game after game if you can keep that up.
Which is an impossible pace to keep up. You're not going to score 4 goals every single game.
No, but I'm talking about the fight and the intensity, the willingness to just stay elevated for 90 minutes, because we just haven't seen that. I mean, even if you lose, you don't score 4 goals, those things can be excused when you feel like you're always still in the match. Most of the games this season, we felt like we have lost this match way before the final whistle is blown. And that's just not fun to watch. This game, the entirety of the match was fun to watch. Even when there was times where Cincinnati was pinning us back, and I was like, oh crap, this is perhaps when they score. Even though I felt goals coming for Cincinnati, which is usually, an indication of doom to come, I didn't feel like this would be our death knell or anything like that. I felt we were still going to be in it. And like I said, man, it feels good to watch a team that is not counted out by like a minute 20.
Agreed. And this is without doing it with our DPs as far as them scoring. And Manuel Atl, I mean, he had 3 chances. He had a sitter on one of them. Yeah. He created the space for himself to do it, but I think he was just off balance, probably also lacking confidence. I think if it was probably in month 1, he probably would have tucked it away. But that's the state of where he's at the moment. As pretty much he's gone, we've gone in a sense. But luckily, that's really what it is. In order to win games, you can't just rely on your forwards to score the goals. You need to spread the goals around. And finally, we have. And, Jay Fortune putting in a shift. I'm curious to see how ready he's going to be for this three match week. Because, Wednesday we're going to need him for sure. And he played the whole 90, but let's look at some of the stats so we cover our bases. We have kind of a starting point from which to discuss this game. Moranchuk, 8.3, highest on our team tonight, according to SofaScore. He had a good game outside of that one kind of weird chip pass that went to no one. Williams, second best, 8.1, and Guzan at an 8. 3 players of ours. And SofaScore colors your player rating based on your performance. If you are in the 6 to 6.9 range, you're yellow, which is not good. 7 to 7.9, that's green, which is like pretty like above average and good, but not like amazing.
And then in the 8 and up, that's blue. I haven't seen that this season yet. But here we are. We got 3 of them, and that's great. The only other blue player was Evander on the other team who had the highest score overall, which is 8.8, which, damn, I haven't seen a score that high in a long time. But, you know, even so, it wasn't enough for them.
Yeah, that man was unplayable. He was an MVP candidate in the league for a reason. I mean, that dude can ball. It's annoying, really. It's I would even say like Thiago Almada levels of it, because that man is so hard to get off the ball, and he's just drifting across, and no one really wants to follow him because they don't really want to foul him. But then it's just like, yeah, you know, he was a problem all night. And yeah, fortunately, yeah, you know, we were able to keep him off the score sheet as much as possible in order for us to, at least, just break this duck finally.
Yeah,
it's just 2 months, 2 months of just dire football, and yeah, we can finally smile.
So to finish off the statistics, we had 37% overall ball possession to their 63. We had a 3.63 xG. They had a 1.43. We had 9 big chances. They had 3. They had 30 total shots. We had 12. We had 8 saves. They only had 3. They had 11 corner kicks. We had 2. Other interesting that we had 21 tackles. They only had 9. They had quite a few more passes than us. They had 3 yellow cards. And that's kind of they had 10 shots on target. We had 7. They had 6 block shots. 17 of their shots were inside the box. 10 of ours were inside the box. So, you know, overall, really interesting statistics. Nothing like what we've come to see this season so far for Atlanta United.
The important part is that we eschewed possession and we played to the strengths, which is pretty much, play route 1, because you know that we have the strikers that actually can run in behind. And our midfield, just isn't tidy enough, technical enough to do enough to get up the pitch together. So our best chance is to either get in behind over the top, and that's how we get up the pitch into their box. And 9 big chances is not really a mistake against a good defense. And especially against a Miles Robinson, who, is an MLS a best 11 level type of player, but he had trouble dealing with Emmanuel Atl all night. Arguably.
One second, everyone. 1 second, I had to switch.
Yes, it did.
I had to switch channels real quick. All right.
Yep.
We are, I think, back to working. I think so.
All right.
Yep. All right. Good. All right. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
Yeah. So, I mean, he arguably could have been sent off because he got that yellow early. There was another foul. Roughly could have been you missed it off. There's an echo. No problem with Nick.
Yeah, sorry.
No problem.
All good.
All right.
I mean, I hear my voice. I don't like hearing my voice.
It's called trying to keep up with the stream.
It's true. It's true. I get you.
I saw AJ right before the second half, and it was good to see you. Good to see you down there. And okay, I was going to try not to clip my mic this time. Whoa!
Yeah.
Oh, let's fucking go!
I see it.
That
guys.
felt
Just give me a
good.
second.
Yeah. R.I.P. your ears, guys. I'm so sorry. Yeah, there is still an echo. It's-
How is this happening? I don't know. I've
Error.
closed everything. Hang on. Let's mute that. Wait a minute. Hold on here.
I think that was it. No,
I don't know what the fuck is going on. Let's try that.
Okay.
Is that better?
Yes.
try
Good.
this.
Okay. I'll live with it.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right. Technical
Yeah,
difficulties are gone on my side as well, so that's good.
Well, let's have your thoughts.
That was 90 satisfying minutes of football on the field. Where has that team been? I'll tell you honestly, at halftime when I went to my meetup back of 106 as I usually do, I said right then and there, I was happy with what I saw, but the first 20 minutes of the second half are critical. And they were critical because that has been where we have fallen over all season long in this winless streak. And sure enough, we conceded one goal, and I was starting to waver and get nervous. But then they put the foot on the gas pedal again and started attacking, and I felt better about our chances at that point. Yep.
I don't know if you heard my intro, Nick, earlier, but yeah, when I was talking to AJ about how I felt about the game, 100%. It felt like we were always in this game. We had never left it, never took our eyes off the prize. And I see the Family Feud card in the background on your stream. I saw that you were on the show recently.
I was at the show.
Awesome.
I was in the audience. I have a good friend that works on the production down there. He didn't know I was coming, so I got a little VIP treatment. Let's just say,
cool.
Nothing special. Or I'm just in the studio audience.
That's still very cool. Anyway, like in my background, I want to show everyone. I have the Atlanta World Cup poster official up behind me. So yeah, got that as a nice present. So check that out on the stream if Nick, next time you tune in. So is there anything in particular you want to talk about the game? Is there anything that, because it seemed like such a complete performance, such a good performance, was there anything that you thought maybe missed the mark, wasn't as good, something we could still work on, something you hope gets fixed?
I do not. I counted at least 5 fouls on Miggy. He has been a target for defenses, and I'm surprised so few cards came from it. But that speaks to where's the help for Miggy? I mean, shouldn't someone be coming to his assistance there to be available for him to pass the ball, or just kind of run a little interference or something? I mean, you tell me.
He's being triple marked, and it's he basically can't.
I did
get up
see that at one point.
Yeah, and he got fouled within the triple mark too, which was really insane. It's like that's how much trouble he's causing, but he doesn't have a running mate. And I think Atl Utd was trying to keep up with him, but obviously service wasn't coming because he didn't have an outlet. He basically was blocked off from pretty much every angle to release the ball, unless he was gonna chip 3 players, which pretty hard to do. So it was a tough night for Miggy, as it pretty much always has been this season, because he's getting marked out of the game because the attention just all sucks into him, because he's really the danger man. We all know that. The other team knows that too, and luckily now there are some other players that were drawing some attention. So finally, I think that's gonna relieve a little bit of pressure off of Miggy going forward, hopefully.
Did you think he had a good game? Because a lot of people in the Discord were very critical of him tonight. And I, in particular, was critical as well. Not very critical like some of the other guys, but I mean, I felt this was not a good game for him. I mean, he did, like you say, get over-encumbered by how many people were marking him. But even that, he was still making a lot of mistakes. His passes were not very accurate. He was struggling. It was a lot of the time when the ball got to him, the play died. He wasn't able to make anything out of it. Even if he wanted to go backwards or retreat, it didn't pan out very well. So is this, indicative of just who he is? Or is this like, are we still not utilizing him correctly? Is he trying to do too much? What do you think is the issue going on there?
I think I'll let you answer that. I'll chip in.
The fact that he was triple marked at one point tells you everything you need to know about how dangerous of a player he is. And all y'all out there who are criticizing him need to take a step back and realize that if a defense is triple marking him, that means he's a threat. End of story.
Okay, fair point. AJ.
Yeah. And it's that. I mean, I think there's, like, you can see the effort is absolutely still there. There's one moment he was the one-man press, which is, okay, a little foolhardy sometimes maybe, but he was preventing them from playing out from the back. And, yeah, he pretty much went from one center back to the goalkeeper to the next center back. And it was, yeah, I think in some respects, yes, it was a little sloppy from him. Not a banner match from Miggy by any means, but
Agreed.
The context is still super key because it is where, so Miggy doesn't really, like, as a second striker next to Atl Utd, he's not really getting the ball in the areas that he can really be dangerous. So, yeah, like when he was on the left, it's not really usually where he can really operate. And, as a left footer, yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, he's basically playing as a winger. So, he's going to cross. He's not probably going to shoot. It limits the amount of things that he could do, the dynamism. So, yeah, obviously, if he's more on the right, he can cut in. He can still get to the byline, maybe still be able to pull one back, shoot from there. But I think there was a little bit more of an aspect of Moranchuk with Saba being more right-sided. And so they were occupying those spaces. But finally, I think you were noticing that Moranchuk and Miggy weren't in the same zones.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And so
100%.
And I think that's what's really opened up the game for the rest of the players. Because
I think what I finally saw, AJ, was the flow of the ball in play when they were attacking was really good. There were some sick moves being made inside the 18, and especially inside the 6.
One-touch passing.
I was here for it.
Yeah, there was one-touch passing in the box, which never happens. So it was like, wow, where did this come from? It was like back heels and stuff. I'm like, okay, all right.
It almost led to a counter, but yeah, the fact that we were trying one-touch passes, I think it was when it was 3-2, and I was like, oh, okay, it looks great, but yeah,
it was one away from opening them up and then getting a scoring chance. So I was like, oh man, that was, because I said I was watching and I was going, oh, it's so pretty, and then it fell apart right at the end. But man, I would have been like, what is this team? Where did they come from?
Right. If it had come off, I mean, that's the thing. It's like goals inspire the confidence. That's really just as simple as that. And I mean, yeah, this team obviously is capable of scoring these goals. This goal drought, I mean, I think a flurry of different reasons. Some of it unluckiness, but a lot of it self-inflicted too. And, I think luckily it's this. Even though Atl Utd didn't score, I mean, he had, again, 3 chances, but I think very key is that he didn't get a yellow card. And that's how he can continue to play and without the looming bits of another yellow card accumulation suspension coming. So that, yeah, he can build on this performance, I think, because those chances were very good.
Yeah.
No one else in this team is probably going to get those type of chances from the scraps. He basically is feeding off of those chances off of scraps.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jamal Tiare, he scored a Thierry Henry-esque goal, beautiful, but it was through a through ball that was really good.
That
And
ball
his
was
run-
on point. Yeah.
Exactly. Like perfectly weighted. Like goalkeeper, no man's land. He couldn't do anything about it. Jamal Tiare curved his run beautifully, timed it beautifully, and yeah, able to finish it aplomb. Yeah, slotted it in, bottom right corner. I mean, it's like, yeah, but that's a good finish, but it's also very good service.
Yeah, because a lot of the work was like we were
That's the
talking
key.
about last time. Was a lot of the balls from Ranchuk in particular, they come as like hospital balls to the attackers.
Yeah.
And when they get there, they're like bobbling them up and down, and they can't settle the ball to actually do anything with it by the time they get closed down. So this one, perfect, and we haven't seen it for a while, so it stuck out very poignantly.
Right. And so it's that. It's like, if Emmanuel Atl got that ball, I mean, preferably probably on the right, because he's a left footer. So yeah, if he had gotten that ball, I think you would have seen a finish very similarly.
Yeah. I mean,
But either
to
way,
be fair, he should have finished that Joseph Martinez-esque style set, because like he almost
hell
dribbled
yes.
the goalie and did what Joseph has done so many times. That would have been like, holy heck! But
It
unfortunately,
ends up on the wrong side of the net.
yeah,
Right, exactly. It was still scraps though. Like that was not like service per se. It was like, okay, go and get it. And yeah, he did. He was able to round the keeper, but then yeah, he just basically cut his whole angle off balance. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, if this was the first month, he would have put it away. But he hasn't scored in 2+ months, so he's not as confident right now. But
How do you think that feels for him mentally? What those chances he missed? How do you think he feels mentally about that?
I would say based on his body language, it's he's approaching it from a very Joseph Martinez perspective. He was on the ground, banging his fists against the ground for those opportunities, ruining those misses. That's what you want to see.
That as
You
well.
want to see, just like what Ronnie Dyla was saying, he wants to see from his players. He wants to see anger when things aren't going their way, not frustration or sadness or anything like that. He wants to see anger, to get fired up.
yeah, and I think you saw hunger from the whole team, like I said, to score. And so yes, he didn't score, but the team didn't sulk. They went after it and tried to score more goals. And especially after getting scored on twice, where I think we saw a weaker mentality in different games. Yeah, a much improved, I think, confidence, but as few fans that were actually at this game, the atmosphere actually was quite good. And it was like the whole stadium, even though it was like, I don't know what the announced attendance was, but with Memorial Day, with MomoCon, with everything else that was happening, it raining. I mean, yeah, it's still, I was impressed at the positivity as well. So I think that is a factor too. And when you have that, even when they scored, it wasn't an immediate, just like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Like the fans actually, it was like, I wouldn't say it's like 2017, 2018 levels of it, but there was that kind of positivity after we get scored on. It was just like, yeah, all good. We're gonna get this next time.
Yep.
It's gonna be okay.
Yep. Yeah, I wasn't my normal, like, as nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs while watching a game, right? I was actually
Speaking of which, my cat is meowing.
I was actually like I was actually like we could still absolutely come back from this. I'm not like sweating bullets the whole time. So it was such a relief to have that. It was a positive, like, anxiousness, excitement even, versus like anxiety, from other games in the past. So let me read a couple of these comments before they build up, and then we'll get Nick's final thoughts. Connor Thompson
the
says
announced attendance was 40,919.
Okay. Announced, right, yeah. Connor Thompson says, I will be the Eeping. Number 1, we win. Number 2, we defend not so good, ? 26 freaking shots. Ugh, not good. Number 3, Atlanta United 2-1-3-0 over Mickey Moose Dunghouse. Okay, Connor, I think maybe you've had a little too much to drink tonight, but I appreciate the energy. And anyways, good night all is what he says. So, good night to you. Hopefully you have a good night and sleep it off. But I still appreciate the energy. There's a lot of partying going on tonight, rightfully so. Bryson Cicero says, AJ, Mike. He also says, we're fucking back, baby.
Careful with that mentality. Careful.
I know.
We are not allowed to say we are back for at least.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of a curse statement right now. Jack Dickens says, so that happened. He also says, can we please talk about what I've been saying all season? Play Fortune every game. He absolutely bossed the midfield tonight. Fair play to Ronnie D. He obviously fired up the players with that soft comment. Yeah, let's talk about that. Was that the what is that? Like negative reinforcement? Like like fixing the players mentally?
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, if you don't wake up from that, and especially also the vote of confidence from Garth Lagerwey, it's almost like this. If I were, it would depend, maybe. It depends on the relationship with each of these players, but Ronnie Dyler would be like, guys, I don't know if you hate me, but if you want me to keep my job, you better play your ass off in this game and in these subsequent games. Because if I get fired, well, you know what the pressure goes to? It goes to maybe Garth Lagerwey, but also to you guys. And also, do you guys like money? Do you guys like being paid to be a professional footballer? Because, yeah, if you don't start showing up, you're gonna lose a lot of wages for one. And yeah, I think it's fairly simple. Like, at that point, it's bare bones motivation.
So it seems like the threats are real now. Like, this is real. You'd think that this would have happened in previous years, but it is what it is. All right, Nick.
Yeah,
so
it's cushy. It's a very cushy job to be an Atlanta United player.
It is. Nick, what's your final thoughts on the game?
I'm going to speak real here for a moment with everyone. I always do. I don't know why I say that, but there was talk at the tailgate about what we would see. A lot of people did not predict this result, given the track record of what was going on, and that is fair. I as well. I will come clean and say my prediction was that we were going to lose 3-0.
Oh, I think most people
had
did.
No hope going into this match. But I am just so fucking glad to be proven wrong. But there's a couple things I have in mind. One, we were all talking about Garth's comment about that he's not made a decision about season ticket prices yet.
Yeah.
And we're all of the obvious mindset that if we continued on the trend that we were on, and hopefully are not continuing on, if the prices went up, there would be even more people leaving, and that might lead to possible collapse of all the fan base, especially the supporter groups.
Mm-hmm.
So the front office is probably playing with fire right now, and there's got to be conversations in that front office about everything. Everything is on the table. And I will say that till my dying day, that I'm here for this team. I will support this team. But if I might not be there next season if they raise prices. There are a lot of people talking about they might not be there,
Yeah.
and I never thought I'd say that. But
Oh, it's good to say this on this show, especially too, because we know people watch this, so your voice is being heard.
okay, the other thing is that I encourage everyone to celebrate this win, but tread cautiously. And I'll give you a great story of when Star Wars opened in 1977. Everyone's like, it's a hit. And George Lucas said, all science fiction films do well in the first week. Wait until the third week and see what happens. And that's how you should feel about this team right now, is that, yes, we won. We did great. But let's see what happens in the next match. Because Orlando's coming on Wednesday. And you all had better fucking be there to give your all for 90 plus for this team. Because they still need us.
And they gave their all for 90 minutes. Yes, game.
We did too. AJ was there. He can tell you. We gave it. We brought it. My voices sounded better. My voices sounded worse. But please, I know Wednesday matches are typically not very well attended. Please show up. We need your energy.
Yeah, people will make it if they can, I'm sure.
And fuck Orlando. Oh, by the way, way to go to the Twos tonight. They beat Orlando City B 3-0. Togashi got a brace. Ooh, let's fucking go.
Togashi.
Yeah, I was a little worried that he was starting for the Twos, because I was like, oh, maybe we need him. Maybe we need him for tonight. And because against Cincy last time, it was his heads-up play that got that equalizer. So I think definitely he's been balling too. There was another match where he scored this crazy side-footed, the side of his right foot, sweeped it into goal from the left side. It's like, what? We need these creative finishes.
Yeah.
But
Cincinnati was happy not to see him. That's for sure.
Right. But
they had enough
it
problems.
Exactly. But it is. Yeah, I'll speak to your comments about the season tickets and the fervent fans not being there possibly next year. It is a very real possibility, and they should be scared shitless about it, because it's not a threat. It is absolutely fans that are from day one that will be leaving, and especially the supporter section, and a already very cavernous stadium. This is the thing. This one result's not going to change anything. Even if we make the playoffs this season, it's not going to change anything. If you raise the prices on the fans when you have very brittle confidence in the actual setup of the team right now, because basically there is a very outside shot if we even get in the playoff picture. No salvaging job is going to justify raising the prices.
MLS Cup victory?
I mean, I don't even think then.
Ooh.
It's essentially the amount of goodwill that has been lost. I'm not sure that it's prudent to actually do that. The PTSD is real. It's at least 2 or 3 years running of fans being promised the world, and it's not us having these massive expectations, it's the club putting out these big expectations that they're not living up to.
True.
And it's 2 years in a row that you have 2 months of not winning games. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to pay more next year if it happens again.
Need a 2-month discount.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just like there's that. There's everyone's paying for MLS season pass too. Like that's the thing. If you're gonna ask the fans of what they're gonna prioritize, hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars that they could save possibly for their well-being, for something else, for investments.
There's also a looming recession.
Or Atlanta United. I'm sorry. Like, as much as we are all day ones, and again, there might be some people with FU money. Great for them. But like that is a very real thing.
Yeah,
and
don't price us out is basically the message here, just like it was.
Oh yeah, you're gonna hear that chant again probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it will come back if it needs to. So yeah. All right, Nick, thanks for hanging out. We'll it was a win this time. So happy that we got to celebrate it with you for a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. Go get your like AJ said, get some honey, recuperate that voice for Wednesday because they're gonna need it again.
Please show up Wednesday. We've got to say, "Oh fuck you, Orlando," as loud as we can.
Mm-hmm.
And I, by the way, I'm carrying the Spike Down for All Stripes on Wednesday.
All right.
Yeah. Shameless plug. Let's do it.
No, that's definitely something you should plug. That's awesome. Congratulations, Nick. All right. Take care.
There you go.
Good night.
All right. Let me get to some of these comments while we wait for our next guest. Where's that? All right. So we have... Yeah, Nick and the so excited. AJ's mic cut out. Brian Baird said, "Let's go. 4 goals, and we still underperformed our XG." Connor says, "But we have a hate week midweek." A1 Products MRO says, "Finally a win." Bryson says, "Real one's still here. Real one's going to be here when we come back up." Brian Baird says, "Sickos only." Gabriel Madrid says, "Let's go." Bryson says, "Best half of the season." Exactly, at Brian Baird. Yep. A1 Product says, "Now that the question is, can we win back to back?" Jack Dickens says, "We could have scored 6 or 7 tonight." By the way, Alexi, I thought played a good game tonight. Bryson says, "Wednesday, are we winning?" I guarantee. We are winning. Guarantee. Trust me, he says. He also says, "Not even being overhyped drunk fan, just being overhyped fan who wants to win on his birthday." So there's the reasoning. He also says, "Brooks Lennon out is a hot take, but someone needs to make them." Brooks Lennon out. I mean, he isn't. Yeah, he was not in this game, and we seem to play a little bit better. Fabian Perez says, "Maranchuk had a good game. Pieces restored." He also says, "Fortune had a masterclass of a performance." Victory 3-3.
Let's hang on that Lennon thing real quick though.
Okay, and then before you do that, let me get Drew in here. Change his name so it reflects his correct surname as Drew, which is technically not his surname. But that's
Is there a katana in there? Oh my.
Yes.
There's a katana. You can't see it on the stream, but
right above it, that is an Atlanta United neon beer sign for the 2018 championship that I got.
I love it.
nice.
I can't see it either, but
Yeah, it's a little too bright.
yeah, just like this. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
you can't. see
Yeah,
it,
exactly.
It's fun. But yeah, on Lennon, it's that like Saba, the chance that he created for Fortune, you'll never see Lennon doing that. Like that just doesn't happen. And
not on purpose, because he did it earlier, but it was not. I contend that was not on purpose.
That was not on purpose. Exactly. Yeah, we did see something similar, but it's like, yeah, do you see him dribbling into the box and unbalancing his man in order to do that? No, he more just, crossed it on the ground, and then yes, I think it was Miggy that tucked it away, right? But
yeah,
it's more that Saba, he can beat his man, and that's really what you need from a winger. And him playing as a wingback, he had the protection, but is a little confusing for your opposition. And especially, I think it made sense when the opposition also is playing with a 3-man back line and also multiple strikers. I think at one point they had 3 strikers on the pitch. That's
oh my god, when Kai Kamara came on, I was like, oh my god, he has never scored against us. He's going to score tonight and ruin our dreams. But...
Right? Exactly. And it's just like, so, it's that type of match that I think it was rife for using Saba in that kind of fashion. But, Drew, let's have your thoughts, man.
Oh,
you don't have to rant tonight.
Finally. Yeah, I was going to say, I had it ready. I had been stewing on it all week. It has been building up for weeks. It's been so hectic for me recently, personally, and I haven't been able to come on, and I just was stewing, waiting for it. And then we actually show up and look like sort of what we were promised. And that's the biggest thing is, when we actually show up, we put on a show, and that's the biggest thing, is players haven't shown up. But I also think this game, you could tell people knew what they were doing. It felt like they were in spots they were comfortable with. And that was the biggest thing for me seeing, is you have Fortune in the midfield and Sleesh in the midfield playing very well as a combo back there. They were doing decent defensively, breaking up plays. They were progressing the ball, trying to make runs into the attack, and that was great to see. We have not seen any of that.
I would say it's not even decent. I would say it's well above average. I mean, some people even use the term masterclass. I thought it was...
Jay Fortune played out of his mind. And I honestly, that kid, if he can get really consistent, that's your next captain of Atlanta United.
I think Mike Conti said he was the best man on the pitch for our team tonight.
Him late in the game, 3-2, him trying to get the crowd back into it and get them, that is what you want to see from a young player that is starting to step up into a leadership position. Honestly, I see big things for him, but Saba playing in a preferred position, we know what he could do in that wingback position. We saw it at the end of last season. He played outstanding. He was doing what he needed to do. Miggy played up top. It allowed Saba to have his own space. And that's the biggest thing. We know what Saba can do on that side. And it's been a frustrating season just not seeing him do what we know he can do. And it's been a lot of Miggy and him getting in the same spaces, Alexi and him getting into the same spaces. Now, with him in that position, you see him do what he does, and you see what he has done in the past for us.
Yeah, beating guys, driving down to the byline, getting across and not cutting in and running into our own guys a lot. So, big improvement.
Yes. And Latte Lath is going to get one here shortly. He is so snake bitten right now, but the fact that you could see him getting the chances was a lot more. It made me feel better about him and his confidence going forward. Because once he gets one, I think he will be fine, and I think the floodgates will open at that point. And if that's the case, I like our chances going forward. Alexei played very well for this game, and it's very promising to see, especially with him and Miggy not getting in the same spaces, like I said with Saba. He was able to control the game in places that he needed to. He played a great ball into TRA there. He got... I don't know if they counted that one as the assist, that little faux tap over, but yeah, he was in the right spaces to create this game, and that was a key part for this team today.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah, and it's like they don't get the plaudits probably in this match, but I mean, I think the attack definitely looked more coherent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though still moments where it's like, okay, the connection still isn't fully there yet, which is still perplexing. But yeah, it definitely looked more competent as a corp, as the attack corp, because it's dire. It's been dire for a good bit of time. It finally looks at least serviceable. But the rest of the squad stepped up, and I think that's really what needed to have happened for the other games anyway. Because it's like, yeah, if your attack isn't scoring, you got to figure out other ways to score. And Derek Williams essentially goal and an assist because of the back post heading back to where Schleich can tuck it away. I think that's exactly what needs to happen.
Yeah, he's the man on fire. I mean, like we were I've been watching a lot of the NHL playoffs, and one of the things that the Panthers do so damn well that I hate is that their defensive men score at an alarming rate. So they don't need to rely on their offensive to make things happen all the time. And so when you see our guys in the back line making huge plays, scoring, getting assists, it makes it easier for our offense because it takes some pressure off and also forces the other team to realign their crosshairs as well, because now they're sitting there going, what, we thought we just had to cover these guys, now we got to do this too. Now we're kind of out of sorts. It unsettles a defense mentally. It's something we haven't been able to do like all season long. We've been too what's the word, like stagnant, frozen, and too passive, in that we aren't able to really untangle the defense. And this time we were like, it reminds me of like I think it was late what was it, I think it was late 2023, where we were scoring from like every player on the team. It was like, I used the phrase, you never knew which direction the knife was going to come and stab you from, because like it was, every guy had to be marked because everyone was a scoring threat. And that is something that it felt similar to that. It wasn't to that degree, like the 5-0 or whatever it was, 5-2 against Miami or whatever. But like it felt similar to that, and damn, it feels good to see that again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the Atl Brutus moment. Yeah. So yeah.
It's like Atl, the entire frickin' Senate stabbing you from every damn direction.
You say, Mike, why you got to bring my pain into this?
I know, yeah. Sorry about that. Well, I mean,
drive the knife in there.
Yeah. Well, 1 second, Drew. Hold on. You can see this in the stream later. But
the Flyers jersey coming out.
A Panthers jersey, but I do have my Oilers jersey here.
Oh, okay.
Because I want them. They won again today. What was it, like 6-2 or something like that?
Yeah. Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah. So they're probably gonna beat Dallas.
Yeah.
Probably. All right. So yeah. Any other thoughts, or is there anything that like I asked Nick this? Is there anything that really like troubles you about this game that came from our side that perhaps we need to really pin up, we need to fix before next game, that Orlando or another good team? Because since he's a good team and they exploited us a little bit, but not a tremendous amount, is there something that you pinpointed specifically that we really need to fix out?
I think there's still some shakiness at the back with our center backs. It's getting better, and that's what I like to see, is more improvement. We're starting to actually get a settled back line, and I think that's allowing us to kind of get better, because now Edwards is getting more confidence, Williams is getting more confidence, Abram's getting more confidence. They're starting to, but was a couple of moments in the games where we definitely needed to step a little bit more and kind of shut down some of the shooting angles that were, because since he can shoot from range, and we were kind of giving them a little bit too much, which is a little risky with them. But other than that, I honestly, if we are a little bit more clinical, we kill this game off way earlier. You had Latte Loth with 2 chances there that could have buried Cincy earlier. You have Alexei with another, he had a good shot there toward the end of the first half, and Saba with that one chance cutting down the wing in the first half. Some of those more clinical options or opportunities just got to be finished, and I think we'll be fine. And if we can start to gel with this group, with this lineup, I think we'll be fine. I also want to say, Ronald Hernandez stepping in toward the end of the game played out of his mind defensively and even jumping up into attack at a couple of spots. That header, poof.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, Ronald, where did that one come from? But go ahead.
Yeah.
I like him stepping up in that opportunity and kind of trying to put his mark on the game, and that's something good to see from him.
Completely agree. Something I've definitely noticed, something changed in this game from the previous games. The mentality-wise, something definitely changed. Players are playing, like you just said, out of their minds in some cases. Everyone's floor, they went way above that today. And another thing I noticed, no one seemed tired this game. No one got tired. They were just playing at the same intensity the entire game. Now obviously the subs were critical because Almiron was running a lot, so he was definitely getting tired eventually, but that's to be expected with the pace he was doing. Everyone else, they kept it up. Jay Fortune kept it up. It was wildly impressive. I mean, Edwards has been amazing too. I can't. Yeah, this game was. It is exactly what we basically have been promised from this season. Yep. What we should have been seeing all season long. And the question is, can they keep it up consistently?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Edwards has been impressing me as the season's gone on. He has started to fit into this team very well, and in the position he's playing right now, I think it's a very good fit. I think there was right at the 70th minute or 70 to 76 minute, there was a little bit of a drop off. You could tell the players got tired, and immediately the subs came on, and you saw that revitalization and more energy back into the game, and that was perfectly timed subs. Good on Ronnie for that one. That was perfect timing.
Yeah. What did you think about Riley Riley and also Noah Cobb, who came on?
Oh, Riley, I think he's got some chances to play some more minutes in this team. I was impressed by him the couple times he's come in. The game he started, he's played well, and he definitely has a engine on him, and he is willing to go, especially late in games. You need that sort of thing to kind of keep the pressure on, keep the opponents on their heels, and that's big. Cobb coming on, trying to see out the game, not a bad thing, just to finish out the game like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, with Riley, it's perplexing that he didn't see more minutes after his start against Cincy. Because, he played really well. Arguably could have been man of the match. And yet, we just didn't see him get any minutes, really, until, recently, until, I think, this match. I mean, he hasn't really come on at all. And, especially with the other midfielders underperforming, I mean, you have to go by merit at this point. You have other guys that are more experienced, that have more of a pedigree to a degree, I guess. Maybe you're going to say, Click. But then Schlich is a Polish international, but it's that. It's if you're underperforming, players got to be, on edge, especially if you're not winning. So, I mean, I think Schlich has probably earned himself another match for sure. Fortune as well, but I think there's got to be rotation on Wednesday too. Unfortunately, I mean, do you trot out the same 11? That's really a big question.
I think you roll out a very similar. I think you do minimal changes if players need it. I think if you need somebody to come out for in the midfield, like a Sleesh or a Fortune, you put in somebody like Will Riley. Because the thing about the midfield today is they both have an engine on them. They will work all game long and chase down any ball. Will Riley has that same sort of mentality, and I think we kind of need that in our midfield. We need players that'll work tirelessly and go down and try to do everything in their power to help win tackles, progress the ball forward. That's where we had great success this game, is us winning the ball and trying to go forward with it, and that'll be a key for the rest of the season if we can continue with that.
And I think that is key. I think it's not that we're trying to keep possession; it's that we're trying to move forward with the ball. And basically, we saw it time and time again. I think in this match, they were just bypassed. They weren't relied upon to help us move up the pitch. They were relied upon to do the dirty work. And that's really what you need to do is, you need to close down your players. You need to make sure that, these players that can really hurt you, even though Evander, unplayable, like I said, it's still going to be, they kept him as quiet as they could. And that's the work that needs to be done in midfield. Especially knowing, I think, the technical ability of the squad, which is it's basically the technical ability lies in the forwards, and as far as building out from the back, that ain't us. So kick it long, find your forward players. They're willing to run, and especially when you have Saba, when you have Miggy, when you have Emmanuel Atl, Tiare, you have guys that are willing to run. And that movement is super key. That's how we broke down an FC Cincy that is a good defensive team. But they were just up against a team that, just ran them rampant more so on the day. And, Matt Miazga has never been accused of being quick either. So, there is that. And especially, you trouble Miles Robinson that heavy, you had a hell of a day.
Yeah, and he was called upon to do a lot this game too. So
I was gonna say Miggy a couple of times was making him have a work day over there on that side. You could see him, Miles Robinson, smiling a couple times going into challenges over there with him.
Yeah, Miles getting paid time and a half to go up against me today. So, Drew, thanks for hanging out. And it was a win tonight. Glad we were able to talk to you for a win for what seems like forever. It was great talking to you and celebrating with you, man.
Thank you, and let's get another one. Let's beat Orlando. Let's continue this good vibe. Let's continue this confidence, and let's turn this season around and do something with this season.
Let's go. Enjoy another one on us.
From your lips to God's ears, right?
There we go. Yeah, I don't need to tell you twice. Right? There we go. Boom. Love it, man. Have a good rest of your night.
See
ya. All right. We got a lot of comments, so I'm going to get through a couple of these before we get to our last guest for tonight. All right. Victory V 3.0 says, today was good. We got the win and performed much better, but we need consistency before celebrating would make sense. I hope the players aren't celebrating. I think that's fair. I think that you should, it's like take the win that you got. It's great and all, but nose to the grindstone continuing going forward, because we're not there yet. This isn't good enough yet. We need to keep it going. I kind of agree with that mentality. I do want them to be happy that they're breaking the duck, right? But at the same time, they have to be realistic. They have a big hole they've dug themselves into, so they need to get out. Bryson says, since he can have the ball, we'll take all 3 points. Fabian Perez says, before we celebrate, we got to beat Orlando and gain consistency to climb the table. Yeah, kind of the same vein about what Victor is saying. Jack Dickens says, Jamal, best backup striker we've ever had? It could be. It could be. He also says,
Brandon Vasquez probably has something to say about it. But,
yeah, in terms of probably, I guess, playing for us, though. But, yeah, I would agree Brandon Vasquez is a better player. But while he was here, I don't know if... I mean, outside of the Open Cup.
Exactly, but that's all we really needed him for. Because Jose Martinez, when he was healthy, that's all we needed. And then, Tito was the backup for that for quite some time, especially in the first season. So it's like, Tito technically was the backup striker, so...
I mean, if he was the backup striker, then I would put him above Jamal. Jack Dickens says, Sleesh for me still is not good enough. Way too many turnovers. Fabian says, Jamal is starting to make a case to start because of how unclinical Latte Lat was. I think you got to get Latte Lat just scoring, and that just means playing him. And once he is, I think you will be rewarded for doing so. Jamal, I think, is a good person to put out there if it's not working, but I don't think that makes it now that he has now won the position will start over Latte Lat, because I think that Latte Lat will then see like, okay, I'm falling out of favor, confidence takes a dip even more. I'd rather that not be the case. Kyle says, Slish can't pass, too slow, and can't dribble. Dallin Hammond says, I think Jamal is good at being where he needs to be. Miggy and Latte Lat drop way too much and are out of position. Bryson says, Slish and Cleach don't work, sadly. Fabian says, Johnny Fortune must become a guaranteed starter if he isn't already. Kevin B says, excited to see more Riley. Victory is having a conversation with someone else. According to AJ, he put in a shift. Is AJ diminishing his performance? No, I think AJ means he did very well. And yeah, that was my interpretation of it, at least. Kyle says, put AJ in the booth to lay some tracks with the Echo. Victory says, even Ronnie said Fortune was our best player the last 5 or 6 games, and AJ is still trying to sell Moranchuk. No one's trying to sell Moranchuk, please. Please, no one is trying to sell Moranchuk, least of all AJ.
Yeah, I think people are cherry-picking bits of conversation. And,
he's definitely not.
If you actually look at what's being said in and across episodes, like it's definitely not. I am not high on Moranchuk. But
you need to talk to Zilf or something in the Discord if you want to talk to someone who's high on Moranchuk. And Jack Diggins
had a good game.
Yeah, this game obviously did well.
He deserves the plaudits when he plays well, and he played well. It wasn't a perfect game, but he definitely grew into the game, and he got an assist. He struck the ball with his right foot, which was, I think, what you really want to see, which is aggressiveness. And that's the important bit.
And he was making runs that were unrewarded, and I applaud that. He kept doing it.
Yeah, that bit is important. It's this, man. Like if there are things in the chat, all great, but if there's things that we need to pick out and talk about, let's give it space, because ultimately, if you want your comment read, you can send a super chat in, and then we will prioritize it over everything else.
All right, let me because that means I have to sit here and read through these, so I don't know if I exactly want to do that.
You don't have to read every single comment. We'll just we'll read the ones that stick out, and if you want to read your comment, again, super chat.
Let's see. Bryson says, I appreciate someone who will realize that they are lucky to be playing professional football and will give it all to continue to do that.
Because it is that. People spend their hard-earned money. I mean, it's not just like a, is it an idiom? Is it? I don't know, but whatever the word is for that. It really is, and especially nowadays, like, with in this economy, like, you better really give it your all, especially when there's 40,000 people that apparently showed up or at least paid attendance. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
Fabian, also, I hope you're not referring to us as these guys meat ride the big guys while barely mentioning the others. That is absolutely not true, and I feel like you aren't watching the show. That's just my opinion. Anyway, Let's see. Omar S says they raise prices because season ticket holders keep buying them. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. And also, I'm worried about that. I mean, just to go back to a second, because the way I think Atlanta United runs their business is not one that is easily able to adjust their trajectory mid-flight. You know, we talk about how like the business is like a boat, and you kind of have to stay on, you know, your target, and if you move just like an inch or whatever, it can really throw you off where your destination is. And I think that if they think we can't really move our revenue and, you know, our projections, because if we do, now we're off target, and then other things downstream from that rely on that target being met are now in jeopardy and can affect things down the pipe. And I think that's probably how they set things up and how they are running the business. And in that case, like I said, it's very hard to then adjust things mid-season or whatever, like mid-plan, mid-fiscal year. It's harder when a company does that.
Do we know if there's tariffs on season tickets, or has that been announced yet?
Well, I think that's it's all local. Well, you think, but
our electronic tickets come from China, clearly.
Yeah, right, exactly. But I mean, on that though, that's the thing. If you're running a football club to make profits, you're in the wrong business. That's not what you buy a football club to do and run one to do. Yes, it's great if you can do that, in which case, yeah, I would imagine Atlanta United is one of the most profitable clubs in MLS, possibly, you know, in the world as well, because of the valuations as well and how little the wages are relatively to the rest of the world, and with the attendance and all that. And I think that part is key, though, is that yes, we have spent the money, and so money really isn't a number for Arthur Blank, but it comes down to, well, you know, do you really need to actually get more from the fans, you know, each match over an entire season from the season tickets? I mean, I think you can actually freeze it and still be very profitable.
Yeah,
because,
I think so.
Yeah, and then it's also this. If you lose a bunch of fans next season, and then people are just buying these a la carte tickets, yeah, you're going to be losing a lot more from that than... And
I imagine, you know, my guess would be if you made an announcement, hey, we're freezing, you know, season tickets or lowering or whatever, I think that would probably get people who have maybe abstained from buying or stopped buying to buy, because they want to reward your good behavior and want you to keep that going. Versus, and then you may even make up that difference that way. So just a speculation. Hopefully we'll see that. Nick, how are you doing? You were at the game. How was it? How was your experience?
It was great. AJ came and hung out with us for the second half. That was a lot of fun. Got to be a little bit lower than usual in the supporter section. That was a lot of fun. Before we kind of move off the business side of the club, I was listening to David Goss and Tom Bogert talk about this once on Soccer Wise, like kind of their national level podcast. That's a really good one. If you've never listened to that one, they were talking about profits one time. Atlanta United is in fact the most profitable club in MLS, and they make like $6 million a year off of Atlanta United, because MLS is not very profitable. Yeah. And like a lot of it's the TV deal, a lot of it is the, you know, advertising deals. They just don't get what the NFL gets or the EPL gets or anything like that. And it's funny to think that we're the most profitable club, even, you know, with Miami in the picture, and they make like $6 million a year. That's like that is like one Bartosz Slisz.
Yeah, right.
It's wild. So I was thinking about that while you guys were talking about that. But
so how was your experience?
It was a good. Got to meet Glenn from 5 Takes today. That was a lot of fun.
Good guy.
Yeah, good guy. Tailgate was good. I think going into kickoff, the vibe was better than last time against Philly. I don't know why. It was just a little bit better, and the stadium actually filled out quite nicely. Some of the we've had Memorial Day at home several times, and those are some of the only matches I've missed the last couple years. When you go out with friends or whatever.
Yeah.
And for
what's
Memorial
that
Day,
like?
I don't know. Because 2/3 of my friend group wasn't at the match today, so I don't know. But yeah, right. So but it's grad weekend for a lot of high schools in the area. It's Memorial Day weekend, earlier than usual. Like first weekend of summer for some school districts, not for my school district. Thumbs down. But so for all of that, it was a pretty solid crowd. As for the game, I was before I came on, and I listened to Drew a little bit, and before that I was watching, Dax and Sasha, BWP and Kevin Egan, the MLS wrap up. That's what it's called. And they were just talking about like how Ronnie called the team soft in the build up to this, and Egan was talking to Ronnie about that before the game. And I think the players really took those comments to heart, because you could see them, like the effort level just all around was about 10% higher. And I'm not saying the effort level has been bad in previous matches. I've never really thought this team has quit on Ronnie or anything like that. I didn't think that last year about Gonzo either, to be frank. I never felt like this team quit, except for the rare instance where they were down 3-4-0, or that rarely ever happens. And so just seeing them in the first 20 minutes at home put away their first two big chances, it just did so much for the game state. We've been spending so many games just chasing and pounding in crosses against low bunkers and all this stuff. Like that's not a great way to create chances. They only put in 3 crosses today. And go back and watch the second goal that Jay scores. Like that is a dial ball goal. That is Moranchuk pushing a through ball out wide, and they get a low cross in from the primary assist zone. Like that is the goal. That is what they want to do. And you saw just a lot more of it. A lot of just being smart in the boxes. You score off 2 set pieces. Like that's outstanding.
So you're telling me all we need to do was basically insult the players. That's what we needed.
I mean, we've talked with Henry and Tyler and several others in Discord who go watch training very frequently, and they said that Gonzo and Rob were not mean to the players sometimes, and every time they miss a touch, every time that's too heavy, every time the ball is a little too heavy on the pass, Ronnie is on them, and I saw that at training firsthand this week. And the training session I think that I saw was probably longer than the one I saw a couple years ago with Gonzo.
Uh-huh.
Now, it was also in May versus July in the heat, so I understand, they haven't had a week off in a while. They had a 3-game match week, then a week, then another 3-game match week, so he was probably keeping them a little bit longer out there to kind of balance. They didn't have that, and now they're not having it again, so that could have been it too. And it also was in the 70s versus in the 90s. I think it's a big deal too, but just watching how hard they were going at it in training and seeing, the smiles and the joke from some of the players that came around afterwards, it gave me kind of a new purpose, for them in a way, just seeing that, and it made me feel good about it in a way. So yeah,
Weird.
Yeah. I mean,
Because this is one of our worst seasons, before this game. So whatever Ronnie's been doing has been arguably worse than any other coach has done for us. And yet,
yeah.
I mean, but I'm saying, I guess just specifically calling them soft, it was what it took.
And that's a huge risk, right? They're either going to fold or they're going to rise to the occasion. You have a 50-50 shot. And today they rose to the occasion. That's great. I thought they did a lot of the right things. I think playing counterattack ball is the right thing to do for this team for a while. Get your back 3 really dug in, and have your wingbacks do a lot of work. That's probably why Pedro came off after 60, is because they've got 3 games this week.
Yep.
And all that. And you have the runners. You have Latte Lath, you have Tiare, you've got Almiron, you've got Saba. And them playing boom ball with some of their best chances. And I'm here for boom ball. I'm here for whatever gets us 20
Exactly.
wins.
Play to your strengths.
Yeah. I wrote this week, like that came out today, like a 3 to 5 to 6 point week, and the entire season changes. Like, it's not as if that's gonna put us in the playoffs or anything. But you look at it now; it went from 14th to 12th today, and if they can even get a point on Wednesday, which Orlando is worse than Cincinnati, but if they can even get a point on Wednesday, it just keeps them farther and farther above the bottom, and that'll just change the season. And then I also wrote the opposite. Like, if you get a 0 or 1 point week, like, it's probably over.
Yeah.
So they have said, like, it's not over. Like, we're not done. Like,
Yeah.
we can
This
still
was
do
the
this
inflection
year.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we need to turn things around here, or else you're like you said, it's pretty much
Mm-hmm.
over.
So,
Yeah,
so you guys
we've seen
asked. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, we've seen this club really, backs against the wall. I mean, they answer the call, and so that's not anything new. But it is that it has to get to that point, and that is wholly frustrating as a fan, obviously, because that's just not what you expect out of a team that's supposed to be in the top four, and
Yeah,
by all
I mean-
metrics and expectations.
Can I push back on something?
Yeah.
Are they supposed to be in the top four? I mean, it took them
Well,
a
so
miracle to finish ninth.
Well, for
Last
sure.
year.
But every pundit pretty much
Yeah.
said, oh, yeah, they,
Yeah.
LA
The
United
club's
should be
self-described
finishing
expectations as top four, so that's
and that
that's
too.
true. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Good point, Michael. Good point.
So, there is that, but I think something maybe a little unkind to us, which we'll find out if it is going to be an impact, is that we played tonight on a Sunday and we have a match on Wednesday when we had an 8 days of rest essentially from our last match. So, it's a little bit like, well, now, we really have to test our depth, which is already not good to begin with. We have 3 players that are already injured and all of that. I think this is what I talk about, where when you have this type of, kind of busy fixture list, and then you are already putting strain on your players, and then more players are, get injured, all that. This is exactly what continues to happen to us, is that you have that, and then plus, I don't think most of our players are going to be called up for international duty on the next time because of the underperformance, except for probably Big E or
is
whatever.
June a mandatory window? I don't remember.
I don't think so, but
When I wonder how many people are going to call in seniors too, like
I don't think it's
I bet the
mandatory.
South Americans will. Like, I bet Abram will go. I bet Miggy will go, but I bet the Europeans won't.
I already
Oh.
know, because if you looked at the United States roster, there's a lot of European playing players
Yeah,
that are not
well,
going.
and a lot of the European-based guys are going to be in Club World Cup, like Kenny, Reyna, somebody else.
Way
But
up,
either
I
way,
think too.
it's that. It's just that we always get the strain of all of that, and no doubt it's a factor. Now, is it the main reason? No, but we definitely get the short end of the stick. We'll see, like I said, if it becomes a factor, probably on Saturday more so. On Wednesday, you'll see a little bit, maybe, I would imagine maybe 2 players maybe get rotated out. I would think so anyway.
I don't know if I would do any more than that. I mean, I think if you're going to rotate, like, put 8 behind the ball on Saturday and tell the Red Bull to have possession, because they can't really do that, and really sit back and just try to do that on Saturday. I think on Wednesday you got to run as many of the same guys out there that can go. Like, whoever can go, you just got to go for the home game instead of the away game.
And Ronnie's been dying for consistency, so he
and
wants to play the same guys.
Just run it out there for 60 minutes, and then whoever has to come off has to come off. I mean, I honestly I kind of like Click coming off the bench. I think he could be like a very positive super sub, in place of Jay or who he came on for today. Or I think he could do the Moranchuk role too. I kind of like Click in that role. You still got Mosquera, who didn't play today, but I don't want to see Mosquera in the system we played today. Like, if Lennon's ready, like, I don't want to see Lennon, maybe except for maybe off the bench. Like, I just think like Lennon's just such a one-trick pony over there on the right side. Like Saba can get forward, do so many more things, and he looked pretty good defensively today too. He made a play right in front of us in the first half. And I was kind of like, oh, you tracked that guy down. Like Ronnie called you soft.
So
I
guess what you're saying, and I think I agree with it, is that I really wouldn't change. This might be our best setup. This might be our ideal 11 essentially.
And I think, and it's so flexible too. Like you could very easily go 4-3-3. Go 4-2-3-1. Like Miggy and Moranchik, I don't think we're having positional problems today.
No.
Because Saba kind of hugged the right side, and they kind of did their thing in the middle with Jay. You can make it back three pretty easily. And I think Edwards and Abram both have to be in there. I think like Abram has been good. Like I wrote this. I've said it. I'm to the point where I'm done complaining about him. I'm not resigning him for the same number at the end of the year either. But I'm not gonna complain about him anymore. And you know, Edwards is one of the best players on the team. He's probably first name on the team sheet for me after Jay and Latte Lat. So
I feel like Stian could probably just walk in essentially to take that from Abram. I think they're probably on a similar level. At least I wouldn't have said this at the beginning or like some of the early matches, but I do think Stian has the potential to at least be able to do what Abram does. It might take him like a couple games to get there, but I think I think he could. Whether or not he deserves it, I don't know. But
yes, from an ability standpoint, but from a Mr. Glass standpoint, no, because
when I think
unfortunately,
Abram's been pretty
taking off Williams
stout.
where I'm taking off Abram. You know, I think Williams is coming out. Like Williams he looks gassed every time he does 90 out there, and I know he scored today. He looked very good today for most of the match, but I think I think if you're targeting someone to rotate. You know, it might be Williams after 60 minutes on Wednesday, or it might be Havsies with Noah Cobb. I don't know, maybe you get creative there. But I just wonder if Williams is 31, 32. I know he's only a year or two older than Gregerson and Abram, but some of the injuries he's had, some of the hammies, he's had those a couple of times since he got here. I just wonder if that's a little too much for him to kind of do it.
Interesting though. It's the thing. It's like your defenders, you really want to see them play full
together.
90.
Yes. Yeah. And you don't want to be, and it's we said this about Gregerson too. Like you don't want to be subbing him out every other game, and you don't want to be subbing Williams out either. So,
that's the whole thing. Is like, you want to be subbing on attackers. You don't want to be subbing on defenders where you could really destabilize the defense because he is that rock in the middle for us as that sweeper in that three-man back line, and when we don't have him, I mean, we basically don't have an aerial presence. We don't have guys winning the ball in the air because Abram, definitely not a physical presence.
Yeah.
Noah Cobb, never been accused of that either.
I wonder about Noah's. Oh, go ahead.
Good.
I wonder about Noah's long-term future as a center back because you can't teach tall.
Yeah.
So I wonder if actually when he's playing right back, he's looked pretty good. A couple other times he's done that this season. So I mean, I wonder if the long term at right back is just him and Edwards kind of find it out for the time, and maybe we just go spend our budget elsewhere, our $700,000 for a starting right back.
Agreed. I mean, it's interesting because you do want to see some service. Noah Cobb good on the ball for sure, but is that like does he have the pace? Does he have,
and if you're doing this, rotating 4-3-3 back three thing, maybe Amador is your wing back that goes forward more in that instance. You got Amador for a couple more years. Although I think we might be getting to the point where we have to talk about him. I'm not there yet. I need to see another game or two. And I know he missed preseason this year, so I wasn't trying to be too hard on him for a while. But it's been, 9-10 games he's been healthy now, and it hasn't looked great.
Right. Defensively, he's looked a little bit kind of a step.
Just like a little out of sync, maybe.
Right.
And maybe that's because the team isn't great. Maybe if the team was playing better, it would be a different story. But you never know.
Right. And it's like him coming in and out of the team through injury as well. That I think definitely is a factor.
And I think missing preseason is a big part of it too. It just never.
Right. Yeah, and it's like, well, last season, I mean, he came in after half the season, and so it is that playing a lot more than he was, and essentially, yeah, it's like.
And he did get that summer break, before he was able to register. I mean, I think he came like right around Leagues Cup, but he wouldn't have been playing for a while. Like, it did take him a minute to get to match fitness, but he had a season, and then he had a little bit of a break, and then he had a third of a season-ish, and then he had another little break, and then he got hurt the first week of preseason. So you never know what that did to him. Could have messed him up. So that's why I'm thinking about giving him the benefit of the doubt. And even then, like, he doesn't have to be great on that budget charge. He can be average out there, and I don't really care. On that budget.
Yeah, bare minimum, he just has to defend. And if he can give 8 assists, even just 4 assists, it would be like great. From left wing back, left back, that's fantastic. So it's
that's why I think it'll get better. Is the defensive part has not been the issue. It's he goes forward and it just isn't happening, and I just wonder how much of that is team chemistry or any of those type of things.
Right, because I think we've seen that they trust him from the left. They do. It's even from like some of the dead ball deliveries. Like he was over some of those set pieces. So obviously it's more Moranchuk now, but it is, I think, on that level where we know that there's quality in there. I think there's a big match fitness question in that's affecting his performances, but that's also part of any player's disposition, is that not only do they have to have the talent, but they have to have the availability, which is the best ability.
Yeah. So if Amador's not out there, I would almost switch Hernandez and Edwards. I mean, maybe this isn't that big of a detail to be thinking about, but Hernandez has been a bit better than he was when he first got here, throughout 2024, and he's been okay in 25, just kind of surpassed by Edwards. But Hernandez is so much better. Like, he just can't do it on the left over there. Like, I feel bad for him when he's out there sometimes. Like, I wonder if you should just switch him and Edwards. Edwards is just more athletic, and maybe you get more out of there. I feel bad for Ronald every time he's over there, because I'm like, he just doesn't have it over there.
Yeah. I mean, he puts in a good delivery as far as a cross goes, but again, it's just like we don't want the crosses. Yeah. Like, that's not what will win us games. And I think from that standpoint, I agree with you that Anthony Edwards probably, if he's cutting in from a left wing back's position or even left back, I think it's a little bit, I can trust him a little bit more, because at least defensively, I know that he will be able to at least handle, the opposition winger or fullback. And then, early on when he did play that left back position, he gave an assist. I think it was to Shande Silva, so that he was able to. So it is.
And if you put Edwards on the left side, then you've got Abram behind him, and I like Abram in a back three on the left side. Like that's never been the problem with him. And if anybody tells you Abram's bad in a back three, I think that's revisionist history a little bit.
Bad is a little too much to say about that. I think very too much.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about these players, unfortunately, in our backline, is that they are more suited for a 3-man or 5-man backline. And you look at Noah Cobb, you look at Anthony Edwards, you look at not Anthony Edwards, Matt Edwards. Thinking basketball for some reason. But and then Derek Williams, can be suitable in a 2-man backline, but we've seen how porous it is. Unfortunately,
he can get overwhelmed and overrun a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you want to do a 2-man, you need Stian for sure.
You do.
Yeah, you have to have Stian.
Yeah, I don't know if Derek Williams is that pairing for Stian, and then it's he can't stay healthy, so it is. We almost have to have this 3-man backline because they all help each other pretty much paper over the cracks of their deficiencies.
And the 3-5-man backline, whatever you want to call it, with the wing backs, and the double pivot is very solid. Like, I think for a couple weeks ago, after they lost 3-0 twice, and he came out with the 3-5-man backline, I was like, and I know several other people that thought this, both from the media and fans and everybody you talk to. I don't know if defending if Ronnie defending his way out of this was going to work. But a lot of the mistakes were cleaned up, and you kind of look at the Nashville match, the 1-1, like, oh, okay, sure. The Chicago 2-1 loss wouldn't have happened if Moranchuk hadn't played volleyball in the box. Austin 1-1, fine result. The Philly loss was, another one on a PK. But then you're going back to it and you're like, okay, these are just like boneheaded, shitty mistakes. They're not breaking us down in a fundamental way. Like, even the second Chicago goal, like, we got caught out on the counter trying to win the game, and that's fine. I think it doesn't bother me because you're trying to win it, right? And then today, you could see the set piece, and then Brad really flailed around on that second one, and I wasn't happy with him there. Kind of gets through everybody in the box. But that's one moment out of like 6 games I just listed. 5-6 games. If that's the way we have to do it to not leak goals to give us a chance to go forward, that's fine with me. Sit back and counter and play boom ball up to the fast guys and let them figure it out. Like,
Yep, I agree.
I think it's totally fine. And you can,
until we figure it out more. I think it's imperative that we play that way, because it's like AJ said, the defensive setup allows us to be more safe and control things a little bit more versus just exactly.
It's basically, if you focus on defending first, and then you build out from that, so that you can actually earn your way to playing in the match. And there's aspects of it too where, well, basically, if it's if we're counting it as like the 3-man back line with the 2 defensive midfielders, you have 5 back, sometimes 7 back. You can basically handle most of an attack that you're facing. And then, you have 3 players that are going forward, or sometimes 5. And, with Saba, I think you actually have some dynamism from the right instead of one note.
And if you're, and honestly, Denke and Evander were pretty quiet today. Orzano was mostly just whining the whole match. Like, if you can keep those 3 guys quiet, you can keep anybody quiet. We've seen them do it against Miami too. Like, even Columbus, like they beat Columbus here last year somehow, some way. Like, we've seen them do it against good teams in this system. I just think it's the way forward. And you've got some pieces in there that you could rotate. Like, you could probably name 6-7 defenders that could go out and give you a shift. We got 4 midfielders that could go out and give you a shift in theory. Like, then you just got to figure it out from there and build it. And I think it's the way to go. I don't have a problem with it. Like, I don't care how the wins come. Just keep racking up points.
Exactly.
Right.
All right, Nick.
Let's get
Nick's final thoughts.
Well, just one last.
Go ahead.
Until we can actually reinforce with good midfielders, like on the ball, because until then, it ain't gonna happen with the current players. Unfortunately, it's just.
I think Click is fine enough on the ball. He's just too slow with it. And he's 35. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah. So super sub shout, I think, makes a lot of sense with him.
Right.
Yeah.
He's got the experience, but Father Time is catching up, unfortunately. So.
And Fortune is just. He's the guy now at that spot. So.
Exactly.
He's the guy. Like, Fortune, and then rotate Tristan and Sleesh, whoever's healthy, whoever can go. Because Sleesh does do a lot of good things out there that I think get overlooked. He's really good. He can win the ball for you. He covers so much ground. Like, he kind of was stopping a lot of counterattacks. He kind of covers up for Alexi in that regard too, if Alexi's really not going to defend, which we know he's not going to much.
Well, we're going to learn a lot from how the next 2 games play out with who the heck is going to deserve those spots, based on if they continue to keep that level high.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you.
So, final thoughts now.
I think I'm good. I think we said everything we need to say. See you guys on Wednesday.
All right. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Have a good one. See ya.
You too.
Yep.
Take care.
Take care.
And if you join our Discord, which I put the link in the chat, Nick is one of our new moderators on the server. So if you're in there, say hi to him. He's Nick17 on the server. So yeah, happy to have him helping out there. Yeah, and let me just read a couple of these comments, and then we will pretty much move to the wheel segment and then wrap this bad boy up. So, we have Alan Salazar. How you doing, Alan? He says, Atlanta United finally wins. What did it cost my boyhood Club America losing the final tonight? Damn. Sucks. Sorry to hear that, bud, but, you know, it had to happen. If that's the way it has to flow, and that's the way it's going to go.
Braves lost. That. Yeah, it's like, yes, there's always a sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
So.
Umi says, the city needed this W. Well, we have it, so that's great to hear. Yeah, Team says he has different friends. Garth backed Ronnie and said no player is safe. I bet that helped. He also says Saba and Miggy almost getting on the same page is Nido. Latte is a freaking gazelle. Reshi says Latte missing that 1v1 before the second half ended was pretty painful, not gonna lie. Plus the scuffle in the box when 3 players missed shots. Yeah, there was some iffy time, but like those things, I think the clinical aspects of, you know, trying to finish in those, was especially with Latte Loft's opportunities, it's a confidence thing. He'll get there. I have faith. You just got to keep giving him the opportunities, and hopefully it pans out. And obviously we have a capable backup striker that if it's just not panning out like it kind of was doing this game, you give him the start still and you give him his chance to come back. But if it's not working out, you got Jamal, and he can put in a shift. So I'm really, really happy that we have Jamal to be able to be relied upon. And we also have Tagashi, who's killing it on the twos and did a number to Cincy last time he played him. So, like, you know, we have some options, and that's very comforting. All right, so yeah, if that is basically not any more of the comments, let me just see. Victory also said Mike Ronnie wants to see players score goals and win games. Anger does not win you games. I know all I was saying is that Ronnie was expecting to see anger from the guys when they lose, and he wasn't. He was seeing like melancholy, and he thought that was not good. He wanted to see more like anger, like angry you lost, so you get that fire in you. I think that's what he was trying to convey, and that's what I was trying to convey. And yeah, so that's pretty much about it from the comments in the chat. Let's see if I can get the wheel going now, which is always a fun thing to try and do. Get that, and then that, and one of these.
And I just want to preface that we both were slackers, and we both had skill challenges. We're probably gonna have to take it off the wheel because it's like homework, and us to be able to get it out, get to it is so difficult. So I think ones that we will be able to do on the stream live is.
But we will eventually do it.
Yeah.
We will eventually do it. It will happen.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see what we get tonight. It's either me or AJ as usual, and it's gonna be AJ. Oh, please stop on AJ. Okay, good. All right, good. I was very confident it was gonna be you, and then it kept going, but luckily it stopped on AJ. So let's see what AJ gets. We get Spicy Challenge, Paint Face Red, the Yoda Voice, Fake Sponsor, Ad Read, and Reverse Roast. What's it gonna be? Ooh, you get to flatter me with a reverse roast.
Ooh, okay, all right. I'm looking forward to it.
So yeah, we'll see what that looks like next time out. So yeah, that's good. Let's turn that off. All right, so yeah, with that, that pretty much does it for us. And man, we got to win tonight. It's you know, everything is looking a lot better, a lot more positive. Hopefully we can continue. Like I said, we're going to learn a lot in these next 2 games about this team and what they're really capable of. But this is the way you start. This is the foundation from which you will build your temple, right? So hopefully we can get it going. But man, it feels good right now. But yeah, we're not there yet.
Yeah, right now we're smelling what the 5 Sharps are cooking. So hopefully we can continue that. But I'm going to beat this metaphor. But anyway, all right, guys. Thank you so much for watching all the way up till 12:22 a.m. on Monday, on Memorial Day. Thank you all to the veterans, everyone who has put their life on the line, or has actually put their life on the line for this country. But
Yep.
anyway,
And all the veterans in our community as well. We definitely send you a lot of respect and thanks for the service, because we have quite a number of you in the community too. So that's awesome.
Indeed. But guys, remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. For Michael, I'm AJ. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next video.
Good night.